On a cold night in February 2000, something happened that still does not make sense. A 9-year-old girl named Asha Degree left her family's home. She walked out of her bedroom in the middle of the night. She stepped into the darkness and a driving rainstorm. Her family was asleep inside the house. They did not know she was gone. The central question of this case was born in that moment. Why did a young girl leave the safety of her bed and walk into a storm? This question has haunted her family, her community, and law enforcement for over 2 decades. Asha lived with her parents, Harold and Akila Degree, and her older brother, O'Brien, in a quiet area outside Shelby, North Carolina. They were close-knit. She was shy, cautious, well-behaved, did well in school, and was a dedicated youth basketball player. Nothing suggested she would do something so risky. She was afraid of the dark. It had been a normal day. Asha and her brother were home for a 3-day weekend. They went to youth basketball practice. Asha's team lost their first game of the season. She was upset, crying with her teammates, but later seemed to recover. That evening, a brief power outage struck after a nearby car accident. The lights came back on. Around 2:30 a.m., her father checked on the children. He saw Asha and her brother sleeping peacefully. Sometime before dawn, Asha got out of bed, gathered a few personal items, a family photo, a library book. She put them in her favorite black backpack and quietly left the house. There were no signs of a struggle, no broken windows, no forced locks. The home was undisturbed. At about 6:30 a.m., Aquila went to wake the children and found Asha's bed empty. The nightmare began for the Degree family. Soft. Yeah. The central question lingered. Why did she leave at all? The initial hours after Asha's disappearance were filled with confusion and mounting dread. Her parents immediately called the police. They thought she might be at a relative's place. They called everyone. No one had seen her. The search began at once, radiating out from Oakcrest Drive. The weather was poor, cold, lingering rain, making everything harder. Law enforcement arrived quickly, canvassing the neighborhood and asking about anything unusual overnight. K9s were brought in, but the rain made tracking nearly impossible. They picked up a trail briefly, then lost it. Volunteers arrived in large numbers, determined to help find the little girl who had vanished. The search expanded to fields, dense woods, barns, sheds, and abandoned buildings. Helicopters scanned from above, but tree cover was thick. Hopes she was merely lost began to fade. Despite hundreds of searchers and multiple agencies, no significant clues emerged. No one saw her leave. No physical evidence explained where or how. It was terrifying. As the ground search intensified, a critical lead emerged. Motorists on Highway 18 reported seeing a small child. Around 3:45 a.m., a truck driver saw a child walking south along the highway, alone, in bad weather, about a mile from Asha's home. A second driver turned to check on her. As he approached, the small figure ran off the road into the woods. He felt something was wrong, but she was gone before he could help. The 2 reports were consistent and alarming. Investigators believed the child was likely Asha. Her home sat just off the highway. The descriptions matched her general size and appearance. But why would a 9-year-old afraid of the dark be walking a busy highway in a storm? Why would she run from help? For more than a year, the case grew cold. No new leads, no further sightings, no answers for the Degree family. Intensive searches ended, but the investigation stayed open. The community held on to hope as time dragged on. Then, in August 2001, a construction worker in Burke County, 26 miles north, made a discovery. He unearthed a deliberately buried, double-wrapped black plastic bag. Inside was a black backpack, very similar to the one Asha took that night. Investigators found McElligot's pool from her school library, a New Kids on the Block t-shirt, and a wallet-sized photo of a young girl. Law enforcement carefully recovered it. The location, miles away, was perplexing, not on any logical path she might take. The bag was double-wrapped, suggesting someone tried to preserve and hide it. This was not the act of a lost child. It pointed to another person, someone concealing evidence. It strongly supported abduction. Someone likely picked her up on Highway 18, drove her miles away, then buried her belongings. Forensics now had something tangible to analyze for DNA or fingerprints. With so few concrete facts, several theories emerged, none complete. The simplest theory: she ran away. She packed her own backpack, perhaps inspired by a story where children run away, and upset by the game loss. But her family says she wasn't unhappy and showed no signs of wanting to leave. She was cautious, afraid of the dark and of dogs. Venturing into a severe storm seems unlikely. Running away doesn't explain why she ran from help or how her backpack ended up buried 26 miles away. Another theory: she was groomed and lured by someone she trusted, instructed to pack and meet them. This explains leaving willingly and the lack of forced entry, walking to a prearranged spot. When a motorist stopped, she panicked, perhaps realizing danger or mistaking the driver for the wrong person. This aligns with the buried backpack. The same person who lured her could have hidden her belongings. In 2020, the FBI highlighted the library book and concert t-shirt, hoping someone remembers Asha with them, or who gave them to her. Someone might remember. The Asha Degree case is frustrating. Facts that refuse to make a single, neat story. The house was secure, no break-in, no struggle. Her brother heard nothing. That suggests she walked out on her own. But on the highway, her behavior suggested fear and confusion. If she had a plan or was lost, why run from help? Her dash into the woods looked like desperation, not a plan. The careful burial is the work of an adult hiding evidence, supporting a criminal act, likely abduction, perhaps murder. Yet we still can't explain how she got from bed to highway, or why she walked alone. Investigators have revisited witnesses, re-examined evidence with new tech, and chased thousands of tips. Still, the core mystery holds. The story remains fractured, unsettling moments without a clear beginning, middle, or end. The facts refuse to align. This story resonates because a child was not safe even in her own home. The image of a small girl walking alone into a storm is a haunting symbol of innocence stolen by the unknown. For her family, the pain is constant, more than 2 decades of limbo without answers. They have held vigils, given interviews, and worked tirelessly with law enforcement to keep her story alive. It reminds us to be vigilant, to look out for one another and for every child, empowering kids with safety, not fear. Every lead matters. Someone may know something. Law enforcement, including the FBI, still asks for your help. What do you think happened to Asha Degree? Was she running away, or was she being led? Share your theory in the comments. Subscribe to Midnight Case Files for more true crime stories, unsolved mysteries, missing persons cases, and cold case investigations. Like, share, and subscribe.